Hello everyone, welcome to SwitchUp as we once again look at 10 of the games coming out on the Nintendo Switch in this upcoming week. A big thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Now the period we are going to look at is any games that are releasing from the 19th of September up until the 25th. And hopefully there'll be a couple of decent games coming. So what is on the agenda then? Well, let's find out. I'm just going to throw a quick edit in here before we get on with this week's list, because once again, a few very good games have just stealth dropped onto the Switch. The first of these is Other Side, which is a turn-based tactics game with a very striking art style, and we will have a review for this one coming out in the next day or so please do keep an eye out for that one. Then we have Ori and the Will of the Wisps, a critically acclaimed game and sequel to the equally as wonderful Ori and the Blind Forest, a game which was on our recent Metroidvania list. I'll put a link to that in a top pinned comment if you want to watch that. We have Hades, a dungeon crawling hack and slash from the people behind Bastion and Transistor, and man, look at that beautiful art style, it looks fantastic. And then we have The Long Dark, which is a survival experience known by some as the pinnacle of the genre, and wouldn't you just know it, we've only just bloody made a top survival games on Switch list literally the day before this stealth dropped. So give that a watch again, link in the top pinned comment, and just pretend The Long Dark is also on there. First up then, releasing on the 23rd and selling for £17.99, albeit there is a 10% pre-order discount, this is Castlestorm II coming via Zen Studios. This joins its predecessor on the Switch and is an action strategy game. I suppose tower defense would be the best way of describing it. This includes 2 story-driven campaign modes, and I believe in this one you can command your troops as a whole, but you can also control individual ones. I'm not sure if you could do that in the first game, you have to let me know. I never actually played Castlestorm, but I know it was very successful and a lot of people had good things to say about it, and this seems to follow that same vein with that wacky, almost Monty Python-esque humour to it.
Sept Luna! She's how you say, vampire! Look! It's the night to save!
Next we have Breakpoint, selling for £4.49, and no, this isn't a game about Patrick Swayze and Keanu Reeves. Actually no, that was Point Break anyway, wasn't it? On first glance it looks very much like something like Geometry Wars or the classic Asteroids, I guess, with that wireframe aesthetic and neon colours that's so popular in games of this style these days. However, on closer inspection it looks as if you actually use melee weapons instead of bullets, so obviously you'll have to get in that bit closer to try and get the hits, putting yourself at risk in the meanwhile. It uses twin stick controls, has 5 different melee weapons to choose between, 12 different enemy types, as well as online leaderboards. I'm always up for high score chases like these, I find them a nice change of pace to longer experiences, and this one certainly does something different with that melee style, and if you're interested it comes out on the 23rd. A big thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Skillshare is essentially an online learning community which offers thousands of inspiring classes for those looking to branch out and enhance their skills. The topics include animation, illustration and film and video, as well as some more business oriented ones such as analytics and leadership and management. Whilst we obviously have our YouTube channel here which has done well over the last year or so, we're always looking for ways to try and improve our content and the direction that we take our channel. Taking Sorrel Amour's YouTube success class on building an authentic channel was a nice way for me to just refocus, take on points from someone that's done fantastically well on the platform, such as how to build something worth subscribing to and how to make meaningful messages, and I found it both insightful and reassuring. Anyone looking to create a YouTube channel would definitely benefit from it. You can get all of this for less than $10 a month via an annual subscription, but for a limited time, you can use the link in my description to get a free trial of Skillshare Premium membership. It really is worth having a look at. Okay, lovely, now back to the list. And then also on the 23rd we have Unrailed, which is a co-op multiplayer game where you must work together with friends to build a train track, stretching it out across procedurally generated worlds. You must gather resources and craft tracks to extend your railroad to prevent the train from reaching the end. Cooperation and coordination are of the highest order if you are going to be successful. Now this has been out on Steam for a little while and has incredibly good scores over there. One strange thing though, at least at the time of recording this, there is absolutely no information on the coming soon section about price or even the file size. If that's changed since recording this and making the video, obviously it will be where it usually is on the screen, but otherwise I can't really give you any information. What I can say though is there is a demo available on there already, and I'm sure that information will be added soon. Next up we have Troll Hunters Defenders of Arcadia, based on the TV show, the animated show on Netflix I think it is, which was created actually by Guillermo del Toro. Judging by the trailer, the game seems to be an action platformer where you take on the role of Jim, but you can also play in-couch co-op with player 2 taking on the role of Claire. To be honest, the trailer doesn't give very much away at all, showing a couple of brief glimpses of the game itself where the character's doing not much more than running. It's selling for £34.99 and is actually developed by WayForward, interestingly enough, albeit it's being published by Outright Games, who have published pretty much every single licensed game on the Switch thus far. And then another cheap and cheerful game, this is Micro Pico Racers, a top-down racing game selling for just £3.59, and it does have 10% off of that price until the day before launch. Now I've included this because it is part of my never-ending search to find a top-down racer that is as good as the classic Micro machines from back in the day. This one looks decent enough, I like the aesthetic, it's almost as if the cars are completely flat, and you can clearly see that at times where the camera's a bit more dynamic and zooms down low. A bit like when Mario turns around in the Paper Mario games. It says there are 20 vehicles to choose from, each with its own handling and performance, a Grand Prix mode, those multiple views that I talked about a moment ago, and a few other game modes such as destroying your rivals and a drift challenge. For that cheap price, to be honest, I'll probably pick this one up. It's just those handling mechanics in games like this, they make or break the games. Hopefully this one will be decent. And next up is War Tile, which has been out elsewhere for a little while. This is a strategy game based on Norse mythology. Even though I don't play tabletop games myself, there's just something about it in video game form that looks incredibly endearing. I love seeing the miniatures battling each other, destroying each other, set against a backdrop of a beautiful diorama. I just think it looks fantastic, and hopefully the gameplay itself will match this look. It says that you can collect an array of different figurines, customizing your warband with armor pieces, weapons and unique combat abilities, as well as setting up your deck of battle cards. That's one thing personally I'm not always so keen on, is a battle card system. But anyway, it certainly has piqued my interest, and if it's piqued yours too, it's coming out on the 24th. Also on the 24th we have a game called Lost Ember. This sells for £24.99, although it does have 10% off of this price up until the 23rd, and the blurb says that you will be exploring the remains of a fallen world from fascinating perspectives. It looks as if you play as a wolf for the most part, albeit you can possess other animals such as fish or a bird and explore the world from that animal's point of view. In terms of the gameplay itself, having just watched the trailer, it's only my initial impressions, it reminds me very much, in some respects at least, of another game that's already on the Switch called Spirits of the North, one of those kind of journey experiences perhaps. It doesn't say if there's any sort of puzzle solving element to it at all. I would hope there will be something like that at least, but I suppose we'll find out a bit more next week when it releases. And then we have Going Under, which is a dungeon crawler about exploring the cursed ruins of failed tech startups. This is published by Team 17 and is selling for £15.99. It says that in the future, failed businesses no longer cease to exist, they sink beneath the earth and their employees are cursed to wander the halls for eternity as monsters. It's your duty to put these monsters out of their misery and repossess their assets so that your boss can afford a new car. So yeah, it's basically a dungeon crawler where you will explore procedurally generated environments. It says pretty much anything you can find can be used as a weapon, and picking up the right weapon for each situation is a must. It all sounds like light-hearted fun. There isn't actually a trailer on the eShop itself, which is a shame, but hopefully I've found one and you're watching it right now. And if you are interested, this one's out on the 24th. And then a bit of a blast from the past, we have a complete edition of Rollercoaster Tycoon 3, a game that came out originally back in 2004. Now I never played a huge amount of the Rollercoaster Tycoon series back in the day, I must admit, but I was a massive fan of Theme Park. I spent so many hours on that game and its various incarnations on PC or consoles, even the DS one, and I love these sort of games. This particular version has been reimagined for the Switch with a new user interface and an intuitive control scheme. It's selling for just £19.99 as well, which, provided it turns out okay, seems like a bit of a bargain, especially when you consider that Atari released a Rollercoaster Tycoon game on the Switch called Adventures, which was terrible by the way, and sold for about 50 quid. Absolutely ludicrous. Then quite an odd one, you have Big Bobby Car, the Big Race. Big Bobby cars being those red cars the kids used to wheel about in. This says you'll be whizzing across a world full of adventures in your Big Bobby car, trying to become the new champion by winning the annual big race. It's funny, this reminds me of the good old days where if something licensed wasn't bolted to the floor, they'd pick it up and make a game out of it. Makes me feel quite nostalgic in a weird sort of way. You can explore an open world involving a wide variety of tasks, complete over 40 missions with lots of challenges, and drive races, as you would hope, against other cars in the Big Bobby world. There you go. If you've ever looked at one of those big cars in the toy shop and wished you could race it about in digitalised form, now is your chance. It sells for £31.49 and releases on the 24th. So there you have it, another week, another 10 games highlighted that are coming out on the Switch. Not the most exciting of weeks in all honesty, unless you like Big Bobby cars I suppose. Although having said that, let's hope Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 ports across well. I am looking forward to that one. A huge thank you to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Please do check out the links in the description and the top pinned comment to get yourself a trial of their service. Helps us out on the channel as well, which will be much appreciated. Anyway, a quick thank you to our patrons as always for your continued support, and to each and every one of you for watching our videos. Take care, stay safe, and until next time, happy gaming.